Also following an alarming plane evacuation in Denver after a, quote, landing gear incident occurred just before takeoff on Saturday. The American Airlines flight was taxiing on its way to Miami when the company says a maintenance issue involving a tire sparked a fire. Watch.
You okay? No, he's not.
And you can see the panic of those people, some of them tripping, trying to exit there. More than 170 passengers and crew deplaned onto the runway. One person was hospitalized with minor injuries. Now, the airline says that the combination of blown tires plus the aircraft hitting the brakes led to a fire. One passenger told CNN the plane started shaking after a really loud bang, then tilted to the left side of the runway. Another witness described flames coming out underneath the Boeing 737. The passengers will fly to Miami later today. That's according to American Airlines, and the FAA is investigating the incident. I want to bring in a CNN safety analyst and former FAA safety inspector, David Susi, for more insight on this. David, thank you for being with us. Can you start with explaining how a landing gear incident led to this fire?
Well, what actually was happening is on the takeoff roll, and before the takeoff roll, the pilot rejected the takeoff. It was already in speed. So at that point, if you have a blown out tire, the rejected takeoff automatically applies the brakes to full maximum. So they're trying to stop that airplane as quickly as they can. They pull the throttles back, they pull the thrust reversers out, they try to stop the aircraft as quickly as they can, but they're already at a pretty high speed. All that energy has to go somewhere, and so it goes to the brakes. And it's not uncommon that the brakes overheat when the auto braking system comes on in this situation. So most of the smoke and the fire that you see was either from the wheel scraping on the runway or from the smoke when the tire got overheated and caught on fire.
Yeah, so you're saying the plane did what the plane was designed to do. How would you describe the seriousness of the situation then? I mean, could this have been potentially a really dangerous event, or does it look worse than it actually is?
Well, it could have been a dangerous event, but there's been so many things to make this not a dangerous event over the years. Number one is they used to use magnesium wheels and tire wheels on the airplanes, which are flammable. So I worked an accident in Hawaii one day, many years ago, where the magnesium wheels caught on fire. They have to be buried to put out. They can't even just be extinguished. So those are gone. And then the other thing is that the brakes are applied evenly, on both sides, to make sure the aircraft stays straight on the runway. So both of those things being in place and engineered well have resulted in this the capability to get everyone off of the airplane safely in this situation.
Well, whenever there's a situation of any sort of in the skies, you see the FAA investigating, and that is the case here. What will they be looking for over the next days, weeks, months to come?
Well, the main thing they'll look for, the first thing I would look for as an investigator is, was there something on the runway? Was there FOD, foreign object damage, anything that's on the runway that could have caused that tire to blow out in the first place? The second thing I would look at is, was one of the brakes locked? Sometimes that occurs when the brakes are applied and then reapplied. They can get locked and cause a lot of heat and friction, which causes an expansion of air inside the tire, causing the blowout. So that's a couple of the things I would look at first. It appears that procedurally everything was done properly. But that's one of the things we look at too, is what happened during the procedures. But there's a lot to look at here still, and it looks like the NTSB is going to delegate this accident. In other words, the investigation will be done by the FAA because it's not a high exposure accident. There were no fatalities. So they'll still have someone on there though, because this is a Max 8 and it's under close scrutiny by the NTSB.
Yeah, and you can understand how people would feel even more nervous, after they keep hearing of incidents like this happening by the day, seemingly, why they would be nervous to fly. But as you pointed out, this was the plane doing what the plane was supposed to do. David Susi, thank you so much for your time. Well, still to come, aid